Hello guys and welcome back to my channel Favel again. Today we are going to see very important topic of checkpoint firewall world, which is securing the channel of communication. Securing channel of communication. Securing channel of communication, the SMS must be able to communicate with all component and managed partner of applications even though they may be installed on a different machines. This is the purpose of the secure channel communication. The interaction must take place to ensure that the component receive all necessary information from the SMS such as security policy, while information must be allowed to pass freely. It also has pass securely. This means that the communication must be encrypted so that an imposter cannot send, receive, or intercept communication meant for someone else. The communication must be authenticated. There can be no doubt as to identify the communicating peers. The transmitted communication should have data integrity, that is, the communication must not be altered or destroyed in any forms. The secure internal communication setup process allowing the intercommunication to take place must be user friendly. If these criteria are met, then the secure channel of communication between the intercommunication component of the system can be set up and enforced to protect the free and secure flow of information. This is what the theoretical things I just explained about what is secure channel of communication. So, secure channel communication ensures that the communication between your management server and the gateway and whatever the components they have in between or the processes they have respectively. Okay, here also component and the processes, they should communicate with each other via a channel and there should be no impact, and this communication should be encrypted. Encrypted. To achieve this, we have the secure internal communication. So next part we'll be learning what is secure internal communication, and it's very crucial and important part of checkpoint firewall CCSA study. You will definitely get one question on secure internal communication. So let's start what is, or let's learn what is secure. Let me write it well. Secure internal communication. It's also called SIC. You must be heard a lot of things like SIC. So SIC lets checkpoint platform and product authenticate with each others. The SIC procedure create a trusted status between the gateways, management servers, and other checkpoint components. SIC is required to install policy on the gateways and to send logs between the gateways and management servers. These security measures ensure the security of the SIC, like certificate for authentication. So see, there is a one SMS appliance, there is a gateway, And how the SIC established between them? What are the things ensures this? The number one is certificate for authentication. Number two, standard based secure socket layer SSL for creation of some secure channel. SSL communication for secure channel. And last thing is your encryption algorithms. Usually they use 3DS for encryption. Now let's talk about this component one by one. Let me clear. Number one is your the internal certificate authority, which we also call ICA, internal certificate authority. So the internal certificate authority ICA is created during the SMS installation installation process. Okay, the SIC is get created, or sorry, IC is get created. The IC is responsible for issuing certificate for authentication. So whatever the certificate we generates for the SSL communication or for gateway communication, having a SIC established, those connections, those certificates, the generated from the ICA. The ICA is responsible for issuing those certificate for authentication. For example, ICA issues certificates such as SIC certificate for authentication purpose to administrator and VPN certificate to user and gateways. Initializing the trust established process. The communication initialization establishes a trust between the SMS and the checkpoint gateway. The gateway, the trust let the checkpoint component communicate securely. Trust can only be established when the gateway and the server have the SIC certificate. For a SIC to succeed, the clock of the gateway and the server must be synchronized. The ICA is created when the SMS is installed. The ICA issue and deliver a certificate to the SMS. Administrative login using SIC. The login process in which the administrator connect to the SMS is common to all the checkpoint smart console component, smart dashboard, smart update, etc. This process consists of the bidirectional operation in which the administrator and the SMS authenticate each other and create a secure channel communication between them using a SIC. Once both the administrator and the SMS have been successfully authenticated, the security management launches the selected smart console applications. Right? This is the theoretical part. I just wanted to, touch base. Now, next part of the SIC is testing the SIC, which is very important. When we do the lab, I'll show you how we do the all this thing. But for now, just understand the concept. Testing the SIC status. The SIC status reflects the state of the gateway after it has received the certificate issued by the ICA. So once that communication happens, the certificate gets received, everything is good, then you will see the trust established between the gateway and the SMS, and that you can test using the SIC status. So the SIG status reflects the state of the gateway after it has received the certificate issued by the ICE. This status conveys whether or not the SMS is able to communicate securely with the gateway. The most typical status is communicating. Like I'll going to show you that when we do the lab. Any other status indicate the SIG communication is problematic. For example, if the SIG status is unknown, there is no connection between the gateway and the SMS. If the SIG status is not communicating, the SMS is able to contact the gateway. Unable to do the contact the gateway, that will be the situation. But a SIG communication cannot be established. That is what we usually get. So in this case, an error message will appear like SIG communication is cannot be established and there is no connection between the gateway and like that. So the SIG status checking is very useful. Then there is something we do the resetting the SIG, or we call as resetting the SIG the trust state. I'll be going to show you this part, but for now just understand for the theoretical purpose. The resetting the trust state revoke the gateway SIG certificate. This must be done if the security gateway has been breached or if for any other reason the gateway functionality must be stopped. When the gateway is reset, the certificate revocation list CRL is updated to include the name of the revoked certificate. The CRL is signed by the ICA and issued to all the gateway in the system the next time a SIG connection is made. If there is a dis- discrepancy between the certificate revocation list of two communicating component, the newest CRL certificate revocation list is always used, right? So now with a quick steps will be understand how the SIG works. So let me rub this part. So number one, how I wanted to explain how internally the SIG process, the distributed environment, how the SIG processes happens or SIG process take place. These are the steps. So number one, the ICA create a certificate for the SMS during the SMS installation. The ICA is created automatically during the installation process. So number one step is your ICA creation, which is when you do the setup or install your SMS. Number two, the certificate for the security gateway and any other communicating components are created via simply initializing from the smart console. So when you go to the SMS smart console application dashboard, uh, if you go to the your gateway object, and from there if you double click to that, and if you see there is something called communication uh, tab, if you click into that, we will go to that initialization process of the SIG. So from there you initialize the SIG. Upon the initialization of the ICA, this process, the ICA create, sign and deliver a certificate to the communication components. For example, this is SMS and there is a gateway. So ICA sends uh, whatever the communication signals to the gateway, and the SIG process initialized, right? The communication between the SMS and its component depends on the security policy specified in a policy file for each machine. Communicating using the certificate will take place provided that the communicating component of the appropriate version are agreed on the authentication and encryption methods what we use. So whatever the component we have in a gateway and SMS, they need to be compatible. Usually the SMS should be the higher version I mean the OS which we install into SMS should be higher version than the gateway or equal to the gateway. So what we'll call like this. Okay, this is OS. Let me rub this. I hope this part is clear to you. So in exam, we should get at least a one question on SMS or more than one questions, like how this SIG process works, what are the things come into the pictures and everything, right? So this was the chapter one for uh, CCSA exam theoretical part. For a recap, I just wanted to tell you what we learn. We learn what is the checkpoint firewall technology, uh, the overview of that, then what is a secure management architecture, then what is a stateful inspection architecture, uh, then deployment platforms, what are the deployment platforms, uh, what are the solutions available for that, and brief introduction to this uh, SIC. Uh, Next chapter will be more of your, introduction of your uh, to the security policy, how the security policy looks, what are the components, and what are the things we need to consider. Next video will be on the lab. So we'll be performing the lab. I will showcase you what we have discussed on the chapter 1 theoretical part. So guys, please subscribe my channel and stay tuned to the next video. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day ahead. Bye bye.